So yes, something that is very close to my heart and very alive in the ecosystem, which is personal power, inner power, sovereignty, autonomy. We can put a lot of names to it. I think all of us that are here in this room, all of us called not only to the Renaissance explorers, but to the whole seeds ecosystem, to the regenerative Renaissance, to the creation of new ways of organizing, governing ourselves, financing ourselves, regenerating Earth. I think we are all in different degrees called to own our place and our power in this life overall. And I think we all have this implicit understanding that this is what we came here to do, that this is what is being called from us and by us at this moment. And I just wanted to touch on that because this autonomy, this inner power, this inner sovereignty is not something that can be granted from anyone else. It is something that is born from inside of us. It comes from inside out. There is no other way of going about it. That's the importance of the inner space, for instance, in the Renaissance explorers, and of cultivating that inner space inside of us and of understanding what that means. And on that subject, there are a lot of different divergent topics that arise, such as implicit, explicit authority, agreements, and all of that, that could hinder us from taking action if we think we are not allowed to. But I just wanted to touch on that and make this a very natural, organic transition into this session. We have decided that we are going to put into application our facilitation system that we usually use amongst ourselves, which is what I've been calling the Samara style facilitation choice or way of choosing who facilitates. Basically, that means we each open the chat, we feel who, maybe not even thinking too much about it, just the first person that comes to your mind, you feel who will be best to lead and guide us today. And you put the name in the chat, you don't press enter, we all put the name in the chat and we wait, we count to 3 and then we hit enter. And whoever is chosen is the person who will facilitate the session. So I propose we do that. Nikki, however, has a beautiful, amazing framing for this session, and I'll pass on to her and shut up now. Thank you, Nikki.
Thanks, Anna. So I had the idea for today to continue our exploration of what stories we'd like to tell here in the storyteller space, because I think everybody has at least a seedling of an idea, or even a more fully formed idea, like Michael, with his article that he's editing now. So since we already started collaborating a few weeks ago, you were all invited to connect with each other, to share ideas and get to know each other. Last week we did this in small groups, and today I was thinking we can connect on a one-on-one session, maybe even 2 sessions when you're paired with a random person in the group in a breakout room, and you can share your ideas, share what you're working on, and ask for feedback. Do it the other way around as well, and then we come back and share what was harvested, how it went, and maybe we can go for another round of doing that if we have the time. So how does that sound? Do you guys feel like doing that? Maybe a thumbs up, or you can all share what you think if you'd like.
Beautiful, yeah.
I don't have 3 thumbs.
Okay, great. So whoever is chosen to facilitate can maybe use this framework. And yeah, Bongi?
Yeah, I wasn't sure about this now. It's a very short point. I just didn't want to lose this aspect that Anna's mentioned about sovereignty. And is it okay? I know this is outside the facilitation process. Maybe a thumbs up if you say the facilitator decides, or are you happy for me to talk about this for 1 minute now? Just to add. Yeah, okay. Yeah, this idea of sovereignty, I just wanted to add the point that it's not an idea, it's a reality. I just wanted to add the point that there are ways, we sort of mentioned agreements, and I mentioned agreements. There are agreements that we can make that really empower sovereignty within our space, that create an agreement about what sovereignty means. And we can make our own, but I just wanted to show you this because it illustrates it very nicely. This is from the Reinventing Organizations wiki. And I just thought this, I don't know if you can see that. Oh, why
yes.
is it? My screen's
loading.
going funny. Okay, something weird's going on with my screen. When I tried to share, it just keeps flickering. So I'll just read them out, but I think it illustrates it very nicely. And what's nice about it is it kind of speaks to the DNA of a lot of new paradigm organizations. And these can be turned into principles. So here are some basic principles that underlie many of they use the word teal. It's just a way of saying new types of organizations, how they function, that underlie many of the organization's approaches to conflict, but also just as agreements. So they're using it to illustrate how conflicts can be supported and helped by agreements. And just this short list, I think, is really illustrative. 1, it's impossible to change other people. We make an agreement that we can only change ourselves. 2, we take ownership for our thoughts, beliefs, words, and actions. And I'd also add self-care there. 3, we don't spread rumors. We agree not to spread rumors. 4, we don't talk behind someone else's back. 5, we resolve disagreements one-on-one and don't drag other people into the problem. A very, very different way of framing this from most of the mediation and other perspectives that I hear. 5, we don't blame problems on others. When we feel like blaming, we take it as an invitation to reflect on how we might be part of the problem and the solution. 6, we focus on strengths more than weaknesses, on opportunities more than problems, particularly when we are working towards, there's like a whole paragraph, so I'm ad-libbing this now, particularly when we're working towards goals, aims, embodying what we're about. That doesn't, just to be aware, this doesn't kind of say we avoid shadows or we avoid weaknesses. It's more about the proactive nature of co-creation together. I just wanted to read those out because it makes it clear that there is ways to make really explicit agreements that are very relevant, and that when you have a setting like this, suddenly sovereignty is in a whole different setting if these are explicit agreements in a group. And I'm sure we can adapt them and make them our own. I just wanted to share that.
Thank you, Gongi. I also think that it adds to the conversation that had been happening in the outer space around, I guess, communication agreements also. I don't know if, yeah, I was gonna say, I probably imagine that people would like to respond to that, because I know I would, because it's an interesting subject. But in the name of explicit agreements, should we go with the process of choosing a facilitator, and then the facilitator can decide, because they will have that explicit authority given to them by the rest of the group to decide if we go into this subject, if we build like agenda items, if we follow the framing that Nikki proposed. Is that okay with all of you?
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes. Awesome. So go into the chat, my friends, and Feel it out. Okay, feel it out. Feel like the name that is popping into your brain. I don't know. That's how I do it. Usually I just feel it and put whatever name comes first without overthinking it. Some people have very rational and reasonable arguments to it. That's fine too. Everybody has a name? Okay, awesome. Oh, João. 1, 2, 3, and hit enter. Oh God. Can someone count?
It's Nikki.
I think it's Nikki, yes.
Yeah, I guess it's me. Thank you. Okay. All right, so where were we? Let's continue that thread. João, you had your hand up, right?
Yes, I love very much what Bongi has bring and says that these kinds of agreements must be in your DNA or inside our codex that we want to build. And yesterday I had many reflections and doing analogy with the body, seeing our circle inside Renaissance, inside the ecosystem, and how they are connected with the movement building by Haifa. And as a circle inside the other circle, as like the MBC already have a skin, but we are going deep for the DNA. So this is a process for the Renaissance being maybe a circle inside these other circles. And when I say that inside the order Renaissance, we have 3 spaces and making a triangle of motion or building in very perspectives, in these different perspectives inside the codex. So the codex could be the place where we are sharing with the whole ecosystem what we are building by this manifestation with these 3 spaces. So we could use the codex as also MBC using the codex and for getting this sense making building. And I don't know if it will be a wiki or something like that. But I also have reflecting on this and see if the way if we can build our core groups to receive contributions or could be like the NBC have done and Samara that's made a campaign so everyone vote for these core groups. And for the Renaissance could be a cycle more short, and with the high that people would believe that it's fair. So it will pass for every exports to vote on the core groups that is still in there, and it's now and it's representing what our purpose has been building through these 3 spaces. So this also could connect our purpose in between the 3 spaces in a very good.
Yeah, thanks, João.
Yeah.
I suggest we continue this conversation maybe on the Miro. We can take these agreements there and then see how we can formulate them better, what everyone thinks, and how we can share it with the larger space. So I'll share the Miro here. I think we already have a space for agreements. And maybe Bongi, if you can bring those points there too, so everyone can go through and reflect on them. I was thinking maybe somebody has something that they want to bring up here from the other spaces that's still alive for them, from either the inner space or from the outer space, that keeps you still wondering, reflecting? Oh, I see Melanie. You have your hand up.
Thanks. I didn't take part yesterday in the call, but watched it partly this morning when I was on the train. And three things are in my mind since I have watched it partly. One came from Annalore. She said, we need to think beyond economics. And I feel the storytelling part we can add is always reminding ourselves that our role is not to look at the economics, but creating the stories around that, because there are enough other people who take care of their view on economics. And no, I come back to that in the end. I share the other two one. The second one, I guess it was Michael. It was what we are doing is more than ticking boxes on a platform. We need to have meaningful celebrations online and offline. So the storytelling part we are caring about, for me, needs from now on also have an offline part. For me, of course, it's easy because Fabian and I, we are in Zurich and we can meet. We will meet on Friday again, but also for others, that needs to be also an offline part. And I think it was also Annalone who said, what we are doing is not programming a game guide. We are co-founding a new civilization, and we need to make sure that no one forgets that. So these, for me, are also that I feel that that's what we have to do. That's a very clear way of describing, in my view, what our job is. So that's what I have taken from that last call, which I haven't fully looked at.
Thank you, Melanie. I think that's a very good reminder. We are building a new culture here, and what binds that culture is the stories we tell, right? Does anybody have anything else to share on this topic or on something else before we move on to the breakouts? Apostle. Do you hear?
So yeah, I'm driving my car and I just stopped. I have I just bought some very good looking cherries and berries, strawberries and other types of berries. I love them. And as I was hearing you and I was buying them, idea, a vision, a story came into my mind. I wanted to share it. I don't have the right words because it's very fresh. So I'll try to improvise here. The story is about a band of heroes, and it's about a band of heroes that come together and change something. And the band of heroes goes into a city, maybe a city full of citizens, but as they are there, they see injustice, see things that they don't like, and see monsters in the alleys of the city. And because they're skillful and they're powerful and they're strong and they're smart and they have a lot of skills, they actually like take on the quest or quests to actually make the city more just, to hunt down the monsters and transform them into allies, to make the gardens more beautiful and more flourishing, and help the trees bear more fruit, in a sense. So I think that's our chart, our vision in a metaphorical way. And it's not easy. It's not supposed to be easy, but that's why we have like all these artifacts that we've gathered from our previous quests. We have these skills that we've developed, and that's why we can use them now, put them to work in order to create the transformation in the most efficient and creative way. So yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Beautiful. What came to my mind was that we maybe have to be careful what monsters we slay. And if we want to slay any monsters at all.
Yeah,
that's
why was my I was referring that's why I referred to transforming the monsters into allies. That's actually coming from Tibetan practice of, it's called feeding your demons, like that actually like deals with monsters, but deals with them in a way that it transforms them into allies. And the whole attitude there is not to fight or kill. That's why it's not a revolution, it's a renaissance. It's to transform and make wholesome, in a sense. Yeah. But very good point. Yeah.
Thanks, Apostle. I'm not sure who was first. Maybe Melanie?
No, I don't think I was first.
Then
Joao.
I love this history. Makes me think when I was like just starting this exploration, this journey to find the solutions of my community. And we have so great stories happening inside it. So I was seeing this as a movement and as a thing that going spread by the hearts and as a movement does and easy to catch. It's the Renaissance, it's our heroes, it's ourselves being guardians and being representing these powers that nature has, and we are just channeling. And seeing by this perspective, I see that we can add the codex in the science and the exploration inside us as inside our codex to be a DNA, to be, yeah, this is amazing. Just make me reflective, and thanks.
Thank you. Melanie?
I'm already in my head working on that story Apostle just told. Thank you. So it's the hero's quest where you have all the parts in there. And I wanted to say something else. I think I have also mentioned it in another call. The role we have in this transformation is, on the one hand, being a midwife, and on the other hand, also, don't know if there is an English word, being part of the palliative care, so the end of life journey. And this might be also a big task for us as the storytellers. We mustn't forget that there are out there a lot of systems that they are not dying, but they have to let go of something. And my observation is also following some threads in Discord. There are a lot of midwives out there and not so many person who take care of this end of life journey and palliative care, especially if it comes to all our shadows around money. Thanks.
Thank you. Beautiful. Maybe it's time to start breaking out into little rooms and then maybe give it 20 minutes or so. So let's see. If you create 6, 7 rooms, it says it's 1, 2 participants per room. We don't want to be on our own. So maybe 6 groups. Maybe some will be, I cannot assign just 2 people in each room. So let's see, maybe.
Nikki, I'm sorry, I'm going to join from phone also, so I can be also one-on-one and I don't need somebody else.
You mean you'll join on your own?
Yeah, to have like that dynamic.
Okay. Okay. I'll create 7 rooms. Let's see. Maybe some rooms will be 3 because I cannot choose. There's one group of 3, that the rest 2. That's how it assigned.
Well, Rachel's just joined, and with Ogi as a separate account, then it's 16 in total.
Right.
So it would be 8 groups automatically assigned.
Do you create? If it's 8 rooms, then it puts one person by themselves. So
because it doesn't count you, yes.
it doesn't count me. Or I can join that room with that person. Maybe that works. Okay.
I'm okay to be by myself because I'm anyway.
Do you see the message now to join?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Then let's have about 20 minutes until the hour.
Nikki, just before I go, is the idea to work on one specific story or anything, or one of the mural boards?
Whatever you'd like to discuss.
Okay.
And I see you're going to be on your own, so I'll be with you.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay, I'll go join the room 8 then. But
Malcolm?
he's
assigned to room 7.
Okay. Okay, cool. Recording in progress. Hello.
Now we can continue our little chat. But nice, because now we can maybe develop that idea we are working on together.
Yes, actually.
Yeah.
When you have breakout rooms, can you decide who goes in which room or no?
I now just put automatic assignment, so the system just decided on its own. But I think I could have done manual too.
Just wondering if we can do like according to what people put on the Miro board, you know, I'm looking at the names and all to know if that was an option.
Yeah, like remember last time I just did opened rooms where people can join, and then you type in, you name that room in a certain way, and then that way they can assign themselves. So
every time I pass those facilitation powers to you, so I still don't know how that works. Okay. Right. So tell me.
I actually I started writing that story.
Ooh, really?
Well, I have just a few lines, and I'm trying to reflect on, okay, so what are the common themes that keep coming back in every account on what the regenerative reality looks like to somebody. And let me look for it.
I was trying to find the Notion. I just did the link. Oh, there was an error loading. Oh, I have to log in and all, but I'll have it. Yes.
Okay. Drafting your stories. Oh, there.
So, okay, you started writing the first lines.
Hey, I just don't. Where did I put it?
Wait. Yeah, because now I am in the general Notion page. Where is it? I don't know.
Storytellers of the Renaissance.
Oh, it's because I'm in my Notion. Oh, okay. Drafting your stories.
Realizing which I found it. Yeah.
Oh, and then there's a Google Doc. Is that it?
So what you're looking for now is what?
Nope. No, this was a link to the. Okay, got it. I just found the imagining the regenerative renaissance with all the colors.
So that's everybody's account now. I copied in there, and I went through it, and then I started bringing out some thoughts. And I can share with you what I have written so far. It's not a lot, but
cool.
You can just tell me if it resonates.
I'd be interested to know, like, what made you begin? Like, what was the spark? You read all of that, and what was the,
I think I'm always looking for patterns that you can discern. And I think after reading all of them, I came with this sense that very often people start from the individual, and how that there is a sense that we're doing this personal transformation, but also it affects your broader environment, creates a new culture, and then that in turn creates something bigger that you can call a civilization. And if there is that transformation happening at the core, then that will have this effect on, the larger environments. And I wrote, like, there's a sense that we are stepping into a new way of relating to ourselves, one another, and the planet at large. This involves recognizing that we are woven into the complex, intricate, and breathing pattern of the earth. We can pick up the thread and continue weaving in fractal-like designs, embracing the unique expression of each artisan, yet being mindful of the overall harmony of colors and motifs. Mind you, this metaphor does not only serve to illustrate a part-whole dynamic in which humans are fibers in a giant planetary tapestry or an organ within a larger organism, but also emphasizes the aesthetics of such a relationship. If sustainable urges you to tread lightly, regenerative is a call to tread beautifully too. So
That is so gorgeous. Oh, wow. Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
So I
How
find
do
it
you
fun to play with this, like the comparison of sustainable versus regenerative and what that adds to it, what regenerative means beyond just, watching our carbon footprint. Like, what is that extra element? And I think it comes out really well with people's accounts.
Yes. I think there's that element, and that there's also the element of which kind of ties together, but I feel like it's not exactly the same between the whole revolution thing and the Renaissance part. It overlaps, but it is also separate with the regenerative and sustainable part.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like, that's good, because to take that focus and that approach, that lens for this, I don't know, article that we're writing, because I don't feel like there has been too much storytelling around it. I mean, there's a bit. I can't even maybe there are a couple, maybe 1 or 2 articles in the library. I'm not sure.
On the sustainable regenerative tension or distinction.
Yeah. I've heard people talk about it in a lot of calls and a lot of videos, but like having something like there written, I'm not sure. From the seeds, I mean, community.
Yeah.
I don't mean overall.
You know what I was also thinking? You were also there at the tools session with Daniel Wall.
Mm-hmm.
Brought it up too. And I really enjoyed the way he was talking about it, because he pointed out that we shouldn't make this distinction in such a way that we start denigrating people who are only doing the sustainable, like as if, you're not good enough, we've got to be. And in a sense, there is like a feeling that this kind of dissatisfaction with the word sustainable, because we connect it to all the systems and institutions who are preaching that, but not making a big enough transformation, or not like leading that well. So we want to go beyond it, but how to make it in such a way that you don't start collecting enemies, or you don't start pointing that, this is what I'm doing is the regenerative. What you're doing is only sustainable. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think one of the main things is not pointing fingers. And if you at any point are pointing a finger, let it be to yourself. Period. And when you're talking now, I have like Annelo's words that are coming into my mind in the last Constitutional Assembly, when she said it wasn't about sustainable and regenerative. I think it was about sustainable and thriving. I didn't remember it was sustainable, but it was the same vibe when she said, we don't want in our lives like sustainable relationships. We want thriving relationships. We don't want anything that is like, it's good enough. That's gonna hold. I guess, probably. No, we want something that is flourishing, that is alive, that is thriving. And I think that may be the path to not enter the pointing fingers or the, this is not good enough. I think the way to maybe avoid that, or navigate that would be with the inspiring part of it. This is what we want. It doesn't even matter why we want it or if it's better or not. Not the point. It's just like this,
Yeah, and I think it often is the intention behind the words, because it's, you can say, oh, it's just semantics. How do you know what somebody means beyond or behind sustainable or regenerative? Or maybe a lot of people don't make that distinction, and they don't mean to just keep it in like small. Maybe they have that intention behind, but that's the word they know and they go for, because that's so present in our culture at the moment.
Yes, absolutely. In a way, you are right. And in a way, when people say that, oh, it's just semantics, sure, true. According to a certain context, yeah, it's just a question of what kind of meaning are we putting behind that word, just like you're saying. Yeah, I guess it's the power of what people in this environment call the memes and the repetition or I'm just going to call it the meaning that some people put behind certain words, to keep it simple.
Yeah. And then, sorry, what you were gonna?
No, go.
Just coming back to the article, then we can say, it's interesting to point out that a lot of people are not using the word sustainable. And why is that? And what is the place where they're coming from? And so to explore what regenerative means, not in such a way to make this contrast between sustainable and regenerative, but to like explore where this place is, where people are coming from. And how that goes beyond or reaches beyond what we normally talk about when we talk about sustainable communities and sustainable lifestyle.
I have a practical question. How do we do this? How do we co-write? Do you have thoughts, ideas? Because I have like very simplistic ideas in my mind, but I don't know. I don't know if I like them. So yeah, I'm open.
Yeah, I mean, it's tricky if you want to have a flowing piece in the end that is coherent. We either need to harmonize to put it all together, and maybe one of us then puts it into a certain style so that it flows, or we keep it somehow still separate, two pieces under the same title, or it's a good question. I'm not quite sure. I think for now what we could do is to just start drafting.
Can you share the doc?
Yeah.
Because your second option was the very simple one that my brain went straight to. It was like, I'll write like, I don't know, the second part of it or something like that. But I don't know. Something tells me that there's I'm not gonna call it a better way, but like another way of doing it. I just don't know what it is. I have this hint. This intuition that maybe there is another way of doing this too.
Yeah.
But we can begin the way we know how to.
Yeah, I'd say maybe something emerges and enables us to merge our individual explorations into one.
Yeah.
Depending on also
I feel like this
what
is
kind of
gonna
meaning
happen.
you're making out of it, because you might see something totally different emerging from these accounts.
Yeah, but I'm kind of excited actually with this exercise of co-writing it, because I don't know how to, so it's challenging, and so I'm excited about it. I kind of want to figure it out. And it ties together with a lot of other things happening, like beginning an orb in Samara, beginning a THO in Renaissance Explorers. It's kind of like sitting with someone else and being like, we don't know how to do this. We just assume that it's possible. So let's try. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, co-writing this is kind of exciting me because I literally have no idea how to do it.
Yeah, so we can edit the same document. You can add to it.
Yeah.
And then we can immediately bounce off of each other, seeing what the other, came with. And that way we continuously, even like asynchronously, can combine or inspire each other with what we come with.
Cool. Yes. Ooh, that could create interesting flows. Because in the beginning, I was kind of thinking, oh, okay, I'm going to take what she wrote and then I'll write after it. And that will be it. Like, I don't know, first half, Nikki wrote, second half, Anna wrote. But now I'm thinking maybe I'll write something like a paragraph that will come, a couple, and you feel like taking that thread and writing after. And then I'll maybe feel like,
Yeah. Yeah, we build on top of each other's pieces. I mean, that could work. Just need to see, if our styles also blend well, because it has to kind of like be readable for anyone.
Yes, I was thinking about that.
And what I'm also thinking is I'd like to write this with people in mind who are not necessarily within Seeds. So for it to make sense to those who are not involved, and to write in such a way that we explore those words and ideas that we might take for granted within Seeds.
Interesting. I was going to ask you before if we wanted to have like an end goal or like a focus or not. So that would be a yes. And if we want to write this with other people not inside of Seeds in mind, what would be the goal, like the purpose of this article we're writing? Is it like shedding light onto these concepts? Is it not convincing, but like inspiring people into like, taking action and looking inside of their communities or their lives or whatever, where they can like, is it like taking action? Is it informative?
I see it as a way of sharing the vision of those who deeply care about the project of Seeds and this regenerative movement in general. What is the for lack of a better word, the vision, or what is driving them? What is the image or aspiration that's driving these folks to come together and dedicate time to something so experimental? Like, for me, that's just what I would like to share. What about you? How would you see it?
Yes, I like that. I didn't have any kind of preconceived idea in mind, so I'm happy to flow with that. I think that's super interesting. And actually, you say that it would be geared towards people outside of the Seeds ecosystem, but I think it would be immensely beautiful for people inside of the ecosystem to read that too.
For sure. No, I'm not saying that we restrict it to like the population beyond, but just also to make it accessible for those who are not within Seeds. So not like talk with the jargon we're used to hear, without like some more like pointers at what they mean.
Yeah, no, and it's beautiful. What I mean is that by like focusing on people outside, we are kind of, whoever is inside Seeds will read that with that perspective of, that's right, that is why I'm here. That is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And, you know,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. We have 2 more minutes. I'll soon broadcast a message.
Cool. Experimenting. Explore. I'm just writing stuff down so I don't forget because my memory is tricky.
Do you think we should do another round? We still have half an hour. Or we do like a sharing first and then we see if we want to do another round?
Yeah, that's what I would say.
Okay.
Depending on what's alive for people, if
Yeah.
there's a lot of live stuff, I would actually like to know, what happened during those breakout rooms. Like,
for sure.
did they open a dock? What's happening? Like,
Yeah.
what's alive?
Yeah, yeah. Okay, cool. Let's close our rooms.
Ooh.
If I close our rooms, is it immediate or still a minute? You think?
I think still a minute, no?
I hope. Oh yeah.
Well, yeah.
Nice.
6 seconds. Yes. Oh, you see, I need deadlines. I need like for us to open a doc. Otherwise, I don't get stuff done.
Exactly. I mean, we can do these like milestones. We can introduce. Okay, so by this date, we'll have this much written or something like that.
And maybe we can do like regular meetings also, no?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
That way we just like check in with one another.
Yeah.
They don't have to be long, maybe like 30 minutes.
Yeah,
you know.
that can work. I think that gives that extra pressure of, oh, I should show something new, you know?
Exactly. Oh, I'm gonna meet Nikki. She's gonna be mad if I have nothing new. Okay, let's see. Yeah.
Recording in progress.
Hello, hello. So, I'm very curious how it went. Maybe somebody from every group can share what was being talked about. If you guys started a shared doc, or was there anything tangible, or did you get new ideas? Melanie.
I don't want to share that much about what we discussed because that would fill more than the 20 minutes we discussed. But I would give a suggestion. We started with 3 minutes silence, which was something very wonderful. So it might be something for the moderator to feel into if we might have 1 or 2 minutes within the call today to be really in silence. And I was with Bongi. I don't know if you want to share more, but that would be my essence for the moment.
Thank you. Would you like to have that silence now? Or yeah? Yeah, let's do a minute now. Wow, that was so refreshing. Thank you for the reminder. I tend to forget the power of silence. Max, go ahead.
So Tainara and I were chatting and sharing. We both don't have like a written story. I made a drawing, but I'm still working on it, so it is not too much to share. Or yeah, but it will be beautiful. And we shared though that sort of the theme of the drawing or painting is a journey from one beautiful place to another even more beautiful place, and there are people on the way, and there's sort of this oasis which is seeds, and you travel with that. And Dana also said that that she also had that journey in mind, that there is this journey going on, and that we kind of need to tell a story of that. And there are many ways of like which journeys we can display, like the journeys of people within seeds. At the end, actually, there came for me the thing of like, how did every one of us come to seeds, and not come to seeds, but actually like, what did we think when we saw it first? And then now after, 6 months or even longer or shorter, what do we think now of it? And how do we feel now about it? And just share these stories. This journey that we are on, and it's not an end story, like it's something that keeps on going. So we can always add to this journey that we describe. It would be a nice thing, and like a blog for all all the people of the journey through and with seeds. Yeah, I think, Tainara, if you have anything to add, please. But I think that's it.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you for sharing that. It was a very, very nice moment, the breakout room. Thanks for all the sharings.
Wonderful. Thank you, Max and Tainara. Anyone else? Yeah, Ogni?
Yeah. Whew. I had a very, very beautiful and inspirative talk with Arian. He shared some of his projects that he's currently working on, which is absolutely something that's been resonating with what's been like a feeling that it's like birthing in me. And we touched the very interesting thematic of like producing the art that has a tendency to be like, in a way, mind altering, to like tell some kind of story that will open human consciousness, open more awareness. And I mean, his projects are very nice. I don't know if he wants to share more about it. which took me again to that like drive that I'm feeling in this space of seeds, especially in this storytelling part of it, is that we have this beautiful power as we are connected here with some kind of amazing purpose and something that's not, let's call it, ordinary in today's society. And we have the possibility of spreading this beautiful story of making our intentions and our personal journeys heard and seen through art. And I don't know, this talk just like again, I'm feeling very empowered in showing more within the space of seeds and giving in myself more of what I am and what I bring and what my passions are. And I'm calling all of you again. Like I really want to see, and I know I'm putting I, but I would really love to see what could be grown out of the space where we are just like meeting for the producing of art, like collectively making something, talking about something, sharing our inspirational journeys, sharing our experiences that were meaningful for us, in which way I would really love to be more, I would love to call all of those who want to share and who had some experiences on plant medicine to like bring that up, because I feel that it's a growing movement that human our civilization needs to be opened again and educated a lot. So that's it, like using our journey, using our shadows, the shadows of collective society, and transferring it in different kind of arts with an intention of spreading the consciousness. That's my take from this talk. Arian, if you want to add something, that's it.
Beautiful, thank you. Joao?
And me and Rachel was in the talk, and I shared her what how we were, and I get her a review about what we was talking before her coming, and I also shared that yesterday was a day that I feeling that I take a huge boat and I go to Renaissance Explorers with the NBC, and after the Brazil DHO talk, and I feeling that I take this huge boat, and in the evening I go to my neighbor and we drink ayahuasca, and I come to my house and I just downloading so much things, and I was sharing it with my friend Melky yesterday. So I wrote this analogy with the body and giving so much inspiration about the telling him the history about the Renaissance explorers and sharing so many things. And yeah, I remember that when I was reviewing what we are talking, I was saying that with Rachel about the practical maybe that we have need to do, and I was sharing that view that I shared earlier, that we are like looking for this DNA and the movement building as a skin and the body with all the changes that made in this DNA, like what we read change the DNA. So we start to talking about the whole system as a body with this analogy, and being seeds like a blood, and the organs and each cells vibrating and have this own conscious with the whole body. So this process and being so we see each other as a cell, and here inside Renaissance Explorers. And yeah, and after she shared that that he was late, and sometimes her feel that she's missing something. So I shared that I also a week before I missed our meeting, but I had the idea to share what Diana shared in Brazil, what she did. So I share with Rachel a record made by Diana. She just make a beautiful record about the Diana and the sea, and it's in Portuguese, but I could translate very easily. And she had this inspiration to share her feelings and creating analogy with seeds being a sea, the whole sea. So after that, one friend took this record and made a beautiful background audio with the sea, and was like improving this art by inspiration with her. So it's very nice to share with Rachel, because this analogy, what Diana says, and I try to summarize, is like we sometimes, yeah, I see the seeds like the sea. We sometimes you let a great wave pass, but because you feel that next wave it's what you going to take. And or sometimes you are just feeling and floating in the sea, and the we don't have to be afraid to searching for things, but being in your place, you already being a part of the whole, as a drop is part of the ocean, and more things that I want to translate for that is inside this record. It's very beautiful, and yeah, it's like that. Rachel, if you want to provide something.
That was beautiful. You said everything beautifully. I don't have much to add, but it was beautiful how he brought that in, translated it, and all of that. So yeah.
Thank you. Maybe, Joao, you have a translation of that. You can share it with us in the Discord channel so we can get back to it. Thank you.
Or you can wait for the English version coming soon.
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
Or you can wait for the English version that's coming soon.
Oh, yeah? Nice. All right. Anybody else? Still have about 15 minutes.
I'll go. I talked with Melky, and it was a pleasure because I feel like the main story we tell here is the story we tell ourselves about what we're doing here. And we started talking about that, like what is the story that we're telling about ourselves in this space, and what is our journey, how do we want to play, how do we want to, what other stories do we want to tell. And he just shared beautifully a bit of his background and a bit of what he sees as his next contribution within the seeds ecosystem, and how artful. I think what I appreciated the most is like how artful, how, or even better, how artfully we can share our stories and what we know, our values, how artfully we can express ourselves, and through that expression, art arises, art happens. So I felt like that was very clear just by him sharing his heart and his journey. Art was arising. It was like hearing poetry. So I feel like that's beautiful, and that's the way we can, one of the ways we can move forward, and we can co-create our spaces. And so I feel like that's a that's a very important thing, to have places like this, the Renaissance Explorers, and even more specifically the storytellers space, in which we can share our stories and co-create the vision for uh, what it can be. So I feel like one of the challenges of the ecosystem is to find our places, and or even more specifically to create our spaces and our place in it. So as we do that, I feel like one of the most important things is to, there are three important things, which is exactly what we're doing here, which is to be aware of our inner landscapes, to be aware of the outer landscape that exists in seeds or in the Renaissance as a whole, and to be aware of the stories that we're telling ourselves and that we want to tell. And I feel like this spaces that we're creating are the spaces for that avenue in which we can share and hear and sense and create. So I feel like this is very important, to have places like this where we can anchor that possibility to discover and share and co-create. So it was beautiful. Thank you for setting it up.
Thanks, Cassius. Yeah, many of you have already spoken to this desire to create a space for personal stories to be shared. Maybe we can have a separate session on that and create like a virtual fireplace around which we can sit and share our own individual stories with each other. If that's something more of you would like. It deserves its own session, I think. Anna?
Thank you. I'm going to take the bridge I saw there, talking about anchoring those stories that we are co-creating, that we are sharing. And I would like to put it out there for all of us to start coming up with ideas of how to anchor those stories, how to share, because the space that we create here in these sessions is so valuable and so beautiful. And I think we can expand that and anchor that even more and ground that. Yes, for instance, Tina, beautiful idea. And in the beginning, to ground us a little bit more and go into practical aspects, Nikki asked like, oh, I want to hear what everyone did, and did you open up a doc or something? And that's actually what we did with Nikki. We were together and we started writing up an article together, and a couple of very interesting questions around how do we actually do that? Like in practical terms, do you write one part or write another? How do we weave in our writings, if writing is the medium's choice? And I think that it's so exciting not to know how to do it, but just sit with another human and be like, I know there's a way of doing this, probably. That's why we're here. We don't know how to, but let's start trying. We'll see where that leads us. Let's enter this journey of actually very grounded and practical co-creation. And yeah, I just wanted to point to that and kind of call us all into, if we feel it's right for us or for the topic at hand, and with the people that were in the breakout rooms or others, to actually go and start doing it. Like enter this journey and keep on this journey with that other person. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. That's great. Tina?
Yeah, and it's so exciting. There's so many synchronicities, right? And we discover them by these shared spaces. And being in the room with Xavier, it was just such a delightful discovery of that. And I would love to co-create in that way, like with everybody here, and also with Xavier, because there was just so many overlaps. There was like, there's no limit to what we can do here. and to bring it down and condense and bring it and actually manifest it, you know, on a page, on a physical, whether it's like the document, like that act of coming together and creating that, I think is going to delight us all. And I'd love to, I mean, like, I can't wait to hear more about Xavier's, like, he's just got this entire game that he's constructed. I want him to talk about it. And it was such an alignment because I'm creating a game with my 11-year-old grandson in the garden. And it's like all in flow, all the archetypes are there, but like we're all sharing these stories that are just like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Xavier, will you tell us a little bit about yeah, go for it.
Yeah, we said, like, let's bring Gavin, your 11-year-old son, into the brain hurricaning space, because I am mental age 12, so we're gonna get on well. And yeah, I can envision, you know, this can be very playful. You know, that game where you get a paper, you fold it in a kind of accordion wise, and then you write down a sentence and just start a story, and then somebody has to follow up with this next one, but they have to stop seeing the first one. This kind of blind, double blind, and all that. Those kind of methods can be really, they can be really interesting because we are playing with synchronicity here. As far as we ground the whole thing in archetypal, you know, in the fertile soil of you know, pure imagination, and our intention is correct. I'm pretty sure that we are gonna do fabulously, and then we can, you know, play musical chairs and swap partners and all that. You know, is a, maybe I can see a lot of methods, a lot of different methodologies to do this. And all of them great fun. We can ground it not just on archetype, of course. We can ground it in real life. We should ground it in real life. We could build the equivalent of shorts, you know, short movies as well. We can go mad and go full spectrum.
Amazing. Thank you. Well, I suggest we start checking out, just a quick round of how everybody's leaving this session. Maybe I'll start and then pass it on. I'm feeling very excited to really get started with the nitty-gritty of writing and not just talking about it. I need to set a deadline. We discussed that with Anna, that otherwise we keep on postponing things. So I'm very happy about that. What about you, Rachel?
This was a good session. I saw that I missed the first half hour, but I'm here. So I woke up and just checked Discord, and I was like, oh, what's happening? So I just jumped out of bed, jumped on here. So yeah. This is very beautiful. It was this talking about stories and sharing our stories, and I've been thinking about it a lot, feeling like, the more that we know each other's stories, the more that we connect, the more that we feel comfortable moving forward, the more that we can find our place and feel comfortable in our place of how we can support and affect this seeds movement that we're doing, and I'm just really excited about this and everything coming together to make it happen. So, and I'm excited to hear everybody's stories. So, yeah. Oh, and then I will pass it on to Tina.
Thanks, Rachel. And I really want to have a conversation with you about soil one day. I want to have a conversation with each one of you about the specific things we're doing. It's just when we get into the nitty-gritty of the stories, it's like that's where the juice is. And I'm all for capturing some of the stuff in a document. Like I feel like, I don't know, maybe it's it's not commodification, maybe it is, I don't know. I just feel like I want us to ground this into things that end up building on each other, like a ritual or a ceremony of creating these stories together and have it show. And this is history. We're making history. It's a beautiful thing. Cassius, how about you?
Cassius?
Yes, I was breathing, and thank you. I'm glad. I'm grateful to be here. I'm excited. Feels like many things will happen and are happening. So thank you for being here. I'll pass it to Bongi.
Unexpectedly, I have a dream forming in my mind. It started when Joao spoke about what he spoke about. And I have this dream that people land on a seed server and there's this animation story. And it's a sketch of a man who runs into a library, or person who runs into a library and starts trying to read every single book on the shelves, and then goes into and then someone else walks in and just kind of picks what they want, and like, I'm just reading what I want to read. and then morphs into the story where it goes into an internal world and an external world, and then the intersubjective world, and kind of tells the story of the collected wisdom of the realizations that we're all saying, many of us are saying, of how we arrived and then kind of oriented ourselves to trying to understand this thing, and then went into partial perspectives, just the inner, just the outer, just the relationship, just the systems, and how something built up, and an animation of this internal compass that builds up in this person. And I just feel like that's a cycling of time. That's the Fibonacci spiral, the way that it concentrates. That's a way of reflecting back the concentrated wisdom. And thank you for the Fibonacci, Melanie. It's coming up very strong. I see this as a project, as a something. May we all feel the confidence to have that inner compass and just trust it 100%, but also be holistic and treat Discord like the library it is, not trying to read every single book in the universe at once, or try and put on every single pair of clothing that is out there, and instead just going, this is my clothing. I'm wearing this today, and this is how I express myself. And it's just clothing. May have gotten smelly from going near a cooker, but underneath I just need a wash, and I'm this beautiful naked human underneath. Sure.
Yeah, I love the conversation today. I get inspired yesterday talking with Melky and now with everyone. I did wrote something of my reflections on the Discord. I would love if some feedback, some overviews, and in our own words about this analogy with the body and the discoveries that I made is that these three spaces, they are building something beautiful that's magical, that don't need to get rushed with decisions or something. We are just creating sense making, creating our own feelings of doing, and when we transfer this for the codex or for the technologies or for the platforms, how we plant there the way of the Fibonacci, with this codex, with this DNA together, with these agreements. And I love it also about the codex being something that we work together in the MDC and the whole system on seeds. If we create some maybe a wiki place, and what are the places that we are sharing with the purpose? Each place has his purpose, right? The Discord being a library, the discourse being something that we focus on something, the Notion being a portal of where you can find more refined way, and a blog with the whole histories of each one. And I think that's so many amazing technological tools, and we using with this purpose that we are building here, it could be very efficient, like a blog where you can find you can search like some wiki that you can search the similarities of the stories about each one, and try to get the blood where we believe that it is possible, because the possibilities is infinite, right? So we have to really see the whole possibilities that we have. So it takes so long. Sorry.
Can you pass it on to somebody?
Yes, that's for Anna.
Thank you. There's a lot of construction work, so I'm sorry about the noise. I am so inspired. I am so inspired. I can't stop writing and taking notes, and I have like 1,000 ideas of different threads to go on and different ways of going about it. Yeah, so I guess I'll take my own advice of anchoring things and grounding them and try to come up with, I don't know, a little game plan of what to do with all of this. And João, you keep mentioning the Codex, and thank you for talking about the Codex. Yesterday there was a planned like meeting around the Codex, but I couldn't see who had said yes or no, and so I ended up like making it a reschedule, but it's not rescheduled yet. And I think I'll go just over to Discord to plan that meeting and post a message there, and everybody can comment on the times. Because yeah, I feel like the Codex is asking to arise, and I think with all that I'm hearing, we're gonna have a beautiful compass for all our explorations, and it's gonna be a beautiful compass for this journey that we're embarking together. So yeah, just a huge thank you, immense gratitude from me and for inspiring, for sharing, for fueling my inner fire. Thank you so very much. How are you feeling, Michael?
Thanks, Anna. I have to admit to feeling a little bit of tension in that as a storyteller group, we're not really coming up with too many stories that can be shared externally. So there are amazing, inspiring, beautiful sessions happening. And I wonder if we shouldn't be challenging ourselves to start producing so along those lines, a number of themes have come. So just before Melanie
Michael,
left,
you
she
cut
left a
out
message
for a few
together.
seconds.
Somebody else has made a brief story of how we came to seeds. I'll turn my video
Can you
off and
repeat
see
that?
if that makes any difference. So a number of similar streams have been coming out, I sense. So Melanie mentioned in the before she left, she sees a number of colors being woven together. Somebody else mentioned that perhaps we could give short accounts of our own to seeds, or maybe we responded, or how we've learned some stuff. So the thought was, could we put together a composite video of maybe each of us speaking to camera just in a minute, explaining what seeds has meant to us to date. And then perhaps at the end, the video ends with all of us saying a similar phrase like joinseeds.earth, or go to joinseeds.earth. But basically the tension is, I think we should be producing something that can be used by the wider community. Loving the time here. I love the way Nikki held space today. It's been really good. So thank you. And we will pass on to, I can't remember who hasn't yet spoken. Tai, have you spoken already?
No, not yet. Well, I'm leaving the meeting with a sense that I could hug every single of you. Having the longer breakout room was amazing for the session. I have a feeling less people and more time made the possibility for really going further with the conversation and generating a connection that came with a big surprise to see how not surprise, but happiness, how every single breakout room, even though making the conversations individually, how the sense of all the groups brought together is telling a journey and is telling things that communicate. So I'm feeling the meeting grateful for connections, linear and non-linear. And that's the argument.
Thanks so much. Like I'm resonating with every single being currently here in this meeting. I'm seeing I'm starting to see like how our puzzle is starting to make some kind of it's not already a full picture, but it's going there. Like every single idea shared, every single passion shared influences me, sparks my fire, and shows me a direction where then my passion can be putted. And I think that's just like a wonderful experience to be supported in this space between like all of us, to like support each other with the simplicity of only what we are and what we bring. That's just like so beautiful, and what we want to see and create in this space. So I want to thank each and every one of you for like bringing yourself here and speaking your truth and your ways. And I don't know, like I'm so my whole inner body is currently like in the movement, like let's do let's connect. So yeah, beautiful moment of having the possibility to like have one-on-one within this space. And yeah, that's it. Like people, I just love you all. And I'm passing to Melky.
Guys, thank you for having me here. It's the first time in the storytelling session. I was invited yesterday by João to be here. I'm very honored to be here with you.
Melky, caiu.
Oops, maybe he dropped. Now let's, who hasn't checked out, maybe you can continue.
Alchemist.
I can also check out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a pleasure, and we had a very productive talk. I will share what I'm working on in the forum and the post of Hong Yen, the mission of art. And yeah, I'm excited what we will come up with. Yes. Thank you, guys.
Maybe just to say, if you guys can be a little bit more brief so we can round off the session, because we're over time.
Can I finish my words?
Sure, go for it.
I put my phone on the other side and then I came down. So my enthusiasm here today is just because I have confirmations day after day of the synchronicity. And this synchronicity, I believe, has a formula. So this formula is act in your enthusiasm, doing the best you can do. And the most difficult one is to not have expectations of what is coming through this. We were training, we were prepared, we were programmed to have expectations of all the time. But the reality is happening by itself. And things will happen by itself. The regeneration is happening by itself. Of course, we are working, but it's like the body. You won't talk about the body today many times. We have cells, but the body is moving. It's not an individual cells that makes the body moving. It's like the same. We are cells. We need our cells in our body to be alive in this body. It's the same for the regeneration. We have every one of us in the regeneration as a cell. It's happened by itself, but our enthusiasm make it shy. So just let these words with you guys. Thank you so much. And then the next one, I don't know, Nick, can you help me, the one that didn't speak yet?
I think it's Max and Apostle.
Yeah, I go. I'm quite tired, but very happy I was here. And I want to say, Michael, your idea with the video is awesome. I would have a quest for all of us that maybe we can come up with one phrase that we can put out as sort of the prompt that everyone also reads in the video, and then they have 1 minute of telling their story, so that it's also not just something that only we do, but everyone can do, and we just put it on the Discord, and then we collect all of these recordings. That would be cool. And Apostle, I want to see you.
So I have a belly full of raspberries, strawberries, and another type of berries. And I'm very happy about it. They were very tasty. And I really love that I joined the space today. I missed the last couple of 1 or 2 weeks. And I feel this space has a great potential, and I want to help flourish, make it flourish. Thanks.
Thank you, everyone. And I'll see you all next week. And in the meantime, yeah, feel free to add your ideas and continue connecting.
Beijo.
Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Ciao. Ciao.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye.
Anna, could I talk to you about, like, am I missing how to connect to the meetings, or did I miss like a message that said when the new time was?
Yes, I put it on Discord, and I had posted it on Discord that the meetings had changed, and it's going to be this time every week now.
Okay. Where?
Because it's the time. What?
Where did you put it? I'm trying to figure out how I missed it so that I don't miss anything again.
Honestly, I don't know. I don't know if it's because I didn't tag people, but I posted on the storytelling channel on Discord.
I was like trying to search for the past one.
Go there now and you see I answered myself, like I replied to myself so that people see, like I had posted, when was it? 6 days ago, saying that the meeting had changed.
Okay. I see it now. I did miss it. Oh, okay. Well, that's good to know. I'm glad that I wasn't the only one. But yeah, I felt lost. But I'm glad that I made it.
Yes, me too. Should we stay on the same link for Max and Cassius and Nikki? Yeah. I only have 9 minutes, actually.
9 minutes, yeah.
Me too.
Yeah. Is that okay, Rachel, Mel, and Ognin, that we say goodbye so we can stay in the same link?
Bye.
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 Melky, Ognin,
They're not even here.
you think they're not here?
Oh, Augie is, I think, on the phone, so he's not here.
Oh.
Sorry, I am here.
Is that okay that I ask that you leave the meeting? Because we have another meeting happening in the same link. You're muted.
Sure, I'm leaving. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you. See ya.
Augie, Tai. Show a pessoa. Okay, I don't know. Okay, we have 9 minutes. We have 8 minutes.
We're still recording, by the way, just in case. Doesn't matter.